In the headlines, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi insists fuel subsidies organized crime, says proceeds will be channeled to poverty eradication if elected. Zamfara State PDP chairman Ahmed Sani dies after peace meeting. Defense Ministry interfacing with US, UK as House of Representatives urges government to take action on terror alert. And on the foreign scene, Kenya deploys hundreds of troops to regional force in eastern DRC. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashin Husseina Usman. And we begin with politics, where presidential candidate of Labour Party Peter Obi says he will immediately discontinue the fuel subsidy regime if he is elected, or if he becomes the country's leader, describing it as an organized crime which is only benefiting a few rich Nigerians. Peter Obi, who spoke on Wednesday at the headquarters of the Media Trust Group in Abuja, said the concept of subsidy right from records of consumption of fuel was steeped in corruption. The Labour Party's presidential candidate also speaks on other pressing issues. Yusuf Akogu reports.
It appears that all the presidential candidates of the four leading political parties are in agreement that fuel subsidy must go. The question is how soon, considering that the present administration had set the exit date for subsidy for June next year, the month after it leaves office. For the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, exiting subsidy will be an immediate thing so that proper investment could be made in sectors that need to be invested in.
Subsidy is organized crime. I will not allow any form of criminality as president of Nigeria. The amount of fuel they say we consume cannot be consumed by this country. There's an empirical evidence. We are about the same size as Pakistan. Pakistan, we are about 210, 220. Pakistan is about the same size. They have more roads. We probably have same number of vehicles, or they have even more. Yet, their fuel consumption is a third of ours. So who is drinking the balance?
Obi is also emphasizing that he is a Nigerian candidate and not a Southeastern candidate, and will negotiate with all agitating groups around the country so as to quell the spate of insecurity across the country.
I'm contesting as a Nigerian. I don't want people to vote for me because I'm an Igbo man, because I'm from Southeast. I don't want anybody to vote for me because people don't buy bread cheaper because they're from that zone. I don't want anybody to vote for me because I'm a Christian. I don't want them to vote because it's my turn. It's not inheritance. It is the turn of Nigerians to take back their country.
A point of contention among Nigerians is the epileptic power sector, which the Labour Party presidential candidate said will be tackled by drawing from models that have worked in other African countries.
Egypt is just exporting electricity now to Europe. Egypt is a third world country. If Egypt can do it, Nigeria can do it.
The Labour Party presidential candidate is insisting that Nigeria can be salvaged by purposeful and honest leadership that will manage the country's resources like he did in Anambra State, and is boasting that he is the most qualified of all the contestants that have thrown their hearts into the ring. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Renowned economics professor Pat Utomi is leading a group of concerned elites under the aegis of Big Tent that have resolved to change Nigeria's political trajectory from what they call transactional politics that shortchanges the citizens to a more people-centered leadership. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the group told a news conference in Abuja that it is out to spearhead a political movement that will rescue the country and return it to the people.
The leader of the movement and professor of economics, Pat Utomi, says the coming together of the like minds was necessitated by the lopsidedness of existing political trajectory in the country in favor of the elites as against the collective interests of other Nigerians.
It was clear, to me at least, that there was no way the PDP or the APC could bring Nigeria to progress. Because what it does is creates transactions, trade-offs between powerful people who want to control power for state capture purposes and the progress of the people, not deliberately, just somehow becomes secondary. the kind of nepotism that fires off is the reason why Nigeria is not run by competent people. Everywhere you go, second-rate people are in position because of, it's my turn, appoint me, we promised you that, we delivered this. And the consequence is that our country is at the bottom of every measure. And we decided we would sacrifice anything to change this for the sake of our children and their children.
The group says it is inspired by the current wave of global power shift from dominant agents of state capture to a more people-oriented brands of politicians powered by the presence of social media platforms and progressive ideologies.
NTL in Kaduna, when it was commissioned in 1960, had pre-sold its entire production for the next 6 months in Manchester. Within 1 month, that company had broken even. Nigeria was exporting manufactured goods in 1960 to the UK. And today, we don't produce anymore in this country.
While they seek to deploy various strategies to raise awareness among the electorate to achieve the goal, there are, however, concerns on their ability to defy the polarization of the political space along ethnic and religious lines, in addition to grappling with a deeply monetized electoral environment. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Federal High Court Lafia has nullified the Nasarawa West APC senatorial primary election, which Shehu Tukur emerged as the winner. Reading the judgment, Justice Afolabi ordered the party to conduct fresh primary within 14 days. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report.
The Nasarawa State West APC senatorial primary election was conducted in June 4, 2022, and the contestants were Shehu Tukur and Labaran Magaji. Tukur was declared winner after the primaries, of which the other contestants, Labaran Magaji, petitioned at the Federal High Court, Lafia, alleging that non-delegates from Kefi and Nasarawa local government were allowed to cast votes during the election. While nullifying the election, Justice Afolabi ordered for the conduct of fresh primary election, which should be participated by authentic delegates from the 5 local governments of Karu, Kefi, Kokona, Nasarawa, and Toto, which are within the senatorial district. Councils to the parties reacted to the judgment.
We want a declaration that the number of votes who are disenfranchised, that is in Exhibit D1, D2, should be removed from their votes so that the plaintiff will be declared the winner.
Either of the parties is free here to say, oh, I want to appeal against the decision within 14 days. The candidate can appeal, the party can appeal, the plaintiff himself can say, I'm not satisfied.
In a related development, the court also declared Mohammed Ibrahim Alkali as the authentic and lawful winner of the primaries of All Progressive Congress for Lafia North State Assembly constituency. Alkali challenged his substitution with Juliana Esler, and the court held that APC wrongly changed Alkali's name after he won the primaries.
I'm one of the most happiest persons today. Happy because the judgment went on the side of the commoner. I became so elated that justice gradually is becoming to take the front seat.
It's a very landmark judgment, and particularly for those of us that were in court. We saw it, and we had the reading of the judgment from the beginning of it to the end.
The Federal High Court Lafia is entertaining about 10 pre-election cases, and so far judgments have been declared on 4th.
Still on court matters, the Federal High Court has set up a special task force of judges to swiftly hear and determine all pre-election cases before it. This was disclosed in a circular issued on Wednesday by the Chief Judge of the Court, Justice John Tehemba Tsoho. According to the circular, the task force became necessary to designate a team of judges following the large volume of pre-election suits that have flooded the court. The circular added that judges will have 4 weeks within which to dispose of the pre-election cases. The Inspector General of Police, Ali Baba Usman, said Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no pending petition or criminal matters with the police. This is contained in a counter-affidavit filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja by IGP's counsel, Wisdom Madaki. The counsel also told the court that the former Lagos State Governor had no pending petition and was not a suspect to the Nigerian police, hence could not be put on trial. Similarly, in the counter-affidavit to a suit instituted by a civil group seeking an order of mandamus to compel the IGP to arrest and prosecute Tinubu for perjury and certificate forgery. According to the affidavit, since the alleged perjury and certificate forgery had been resolved by the Apex Court, there was no need for the police to reopen the matter. He prayed the court to dismiss the suit brought against him and the Nigerian police force for want of merit and jurisdiction. On security, Minister of Defense General Bashir Magashi, retired, says his ministry is working with the Foreign Affairs Ministry to interface with the US and UK government to ensure all sensitive information like the recent security alert are issued with sense of responsibility in the future. The minister said this during defense of 2022-2023 budget before the House of Representatives Committee on Defense in Abuja on Tuesday. Chairman of the committee, Babajimi Benson, tasked the ministry to take seriously the issue of security alert issued by the embassies of the US, the UK and other European countries. Responding, the minister said the military and other sister security agencies are on top of the situation.
These robust achievements, which is a proof of the level of professionalism often displayed by our military in the discharge of their duties. However, this committee requests that the armed forces of Nigeria should take note of the recent security alerts in Nigeria by the US government. We urge you to effectively collaborate with sister security agencies to ensure that all security threats are completely neutralized and Nigerians can live peacefully.
We are of the opinion that the best way to go about it is to continue and where possible beef up security in Abuja and its contiguous states.
Officers of the Oyo State Police Command have paraded some suspects for vandalizing and stealing a transformer and other electrical appliances. The police also paraded other suspects for illegal possession of firearms, vandalism and other crimes. Speaking at the command headquarters in Ibadan, Public Relations Officer Adewale Oshifeso assured residents of the command's unwavering commitment towards ensuring that the state remains inhabitable for criminals. The police image maker says they called for more synergy with members of the public, stating that its recent successes were made possible through intelligence-led community policing strategies, which, according to him, led to the arrest of the suspects who will soon face the full wrath of the law. Moving on, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Zamfara State, Ahmed Sani, is dead. The publicity secretary of the party in the state, Abba Bello, confirmed the death of the chairman to Trust TV News in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. He said Sani was attending a meeting with Ulama Consultative Forum when he started feeling uncomfortable and was rushed to a private hospital in Gusau, the state capital, where he was confirmed dead. The PDP chairman died at the age of 60. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Why jungle justice is evil. Do stay with us.
That's good.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Here are some of our top stories. Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi insists fuel subsidies organized crime, says proceeds will be channeled to poverty eradication if elected. We also heard that Zamfara State PDP chairman Ahmed Sani dies after peace meeting. Moving to more stories, bandits stormed Faras village of Matazu local government area of Katsina State early hours of Tuesday, killing 1 and abducting 5 people. Residents who called Trust TV in Katsina told our correspondents that terrorists also rustled unspecified number of domestic animals in the process. The terrorists stormed the village, shooting sporadically with sophisticated firearms. Vigilante Corps are now mobilizing and working with other security operatives to restore hope in the minds of the already apprehensive residents. Tension has heightened in the affected communities, and residents are worried about how to evacuate their farm produce. All efforts to get the police response on the attack proved abortive, as several calls put to the command's public relations officer in Katsina were not responded to. A senior magistrate's court sitting at Uke Karu local government area of Nasarawa State has issued a bench warrant against Idris Muhammad for failing to appear in court on Monday. Muhammad, who is the current Commissioner for Works and Rural Development in the state, is standing trial for offences bordering on criminal conspiracy, trespassing and mischief in a suit filed by Idris Aliyu Bori and 1 other. Muhammad and 5 others were accused of trespassing on the land of the complainants and causing mischief after intimidating the complainants. Counsel for the complainant, N.E. Emmanuel, called for the revocation of the bail earlier granted to the commissioner and an arrest warrant issued against him. However, counsel for the defendants, G.O. Idu, opposed the application for the arrest. The presiding magistrate, Aisha Abdullahi, in her ruling, upheld the application of the complainant's counsel and ordered the immediate arrest of the commissioner, citing continued disobedience to the court as a reason for her decision. Moving on to crime, residents of Makurdi in Benue State have described extrajudicial killings in the form of jungle justice as evil. This follows a recent mob action in a community in the state capital, which resulted in the killing of a suspect. The report.
The residents, mostly youths, in the Benue State capital, Makurdi, said lack of trust in government agencies like the police to serve justice accounts for increased cases of jungle justice. They are, however, hopeful that something can be done to respect the rights of suspects.
But the challenge we're facing concerning jungle justice is in dual form, and the security are the major culprit in this. Because very often, sometimes one who has done something is caught, and the security people will free that person to go. Now you see people moving about with bottled up reactions. But if everybody is not angry, we have minimal tempers, we have people who are not outrightly to react to what might have hitherto happened to them. You will see that anything that rises tempers, people will first of all calm down to establish the truth.
The residents condemned the act and urged citizens to find other ways of handling suspected criminals. They also said the era of jungle justice is over because civilization has provided many options.
Jungle justice is met by people who have engaged in very, very petty things like stealing, snatching of phones and all that. And you see that the real criminals that have caused our society the real damage are very, very untouchable. So for me, it's a no, no, no. And if it was in my power, I would do everything to avoid it, prevent it at every angle in existence.
And I think the societies too should look at it and try to move away from that act. If a person does a wrong thing, there are people who should take care of that. We have security agencies who take care of those kinds of things. Call on the police and let them take care of the matter, not you taking laws into your hands.
We have laws that are guiding our society and our country. So jungle justice is just like we are taking laws into our hands, which cannot bring any solution. We should condemn it totally. The security agencies in our country should do more to make sure jungle justice has been stopped.
Despite calls by civil society organizations and NGOs for human rights protection in communities, the cases of extrajudicial killings or jungle justice have continued to rise in recent times.
The House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs on Wednesday declined to consider the budget proposals of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs over what it described as administrative infractions and non-adherence to the Appropriation Act. The lawmakers during the ministry's budget defense accused the minister of asking foreign missions not to comply with several communications sent by the House of Representatives. The lawmakers noted that the refusal by the missions and embassies to constitute their tender board and render an account of their administrative charges following the directives of the minister is against Section 8 of the Appropriations Act. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, in his response, denied the accusations by the lawmakers, adding that at no time did he issue directives to officials of his ministry, embassies and missions abroad to disregard the directive of the National Assembly. The lawmakers, however, resolved not to consider the proposed 2023 appropriation of the ministry pending when all missions are directed to comply with Section 10 of the 2022 Appropriations Act as amended.
We have called the attention of the minister to this act, but he has continued to direct the missions not to obey this law in spite of receiving about 4 letters on the issue, including the latest one of 6 September 2022. In addition to the above, Section 7 of the Appropriation Act 2022 as amended captures inter alia that the Minister of Finance shall ensure that funds appropriated under this act are released to the appropriate agencies and or organs of government as and when due, provided that no funds for any quarter of the fiscal year shall be deferred without prior waiver from the National Assembly.
We have given the directives, I've signed up on it, that they can set up, as you said, Mr. President has assented to it, so we have no problems. We're not flouting it in any way, and I have certainly never sent or signed anything to any mission to tell them to disregard those requirements.
After hours of protest at the entrance gates of the Murtala Mohammed Airport 2 terminal in Lagos State, aviation workers on Tuesday terminated their strike and vacated the gates for resumption of flight operations. The aviation workers, under the aegis of the Air Transport Service Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, had on Tuesday morning blocked the MMA2 terminal gates, disrupting airport operations as airlines suspend flights. The union protested the unprovoked termination of the appointment of 34 aviation workers by the operators of the airport terminal. However, hours after the protest, ATSAN General Secretary Francis Akinjoli said operators of the airport terminal have recalled the disengaged workers. According to him, the agreement was reached at a meeting empaneled by the Ministry of Labour and Employment, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Nigeria Airspace Management Agency, and airport security agencies. On the foreign scene, Kenyan President William Ruto says his country is sending more than 900 military personnel to the Democratic Republic of Congo to join a new regional force tasked with trying to calm deadly tensions fueled by armed groups. Ruto on Wednesday called the mission necessary and urgent for regional security and said he and the DRC's president had agreed on how Kenyan forces would work with Congolese and other forces on disarming rebels and peacekeeping in the country's troubled east. The Kenyan forces will be based in Goma, eastern DRC's largest city. The East African Community Regional Force, agreed upon by heads of state in June and led by a Kenyan commander, also has 2 battalions from Uganda, 2 from Burundi, and 1 from South Sudan. And finally, in sports, a member of the Nigerian Professional Football League's Interim Management Committee, Awolu Jada, has been suspended by the Nigerian Football Federation due to allegations of match manipulation. According to the NFF, Jada's suspension is pending investigations into a viral video making rounds online for a few days and appears to feature the committee member compromising himself with bogus boasts of his ability to influence the results of matches. The NFF General Secretary, Muhammad Sanusi, who made this known recently, said he has been suspended from all football-related activities pending investigations into the video recording in which he apparently is the principal character. The investigation is expected to be conducted by the Ethics and Integrity Units of the Nigerian Football Federation. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Remember to connect with us on all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.